Right now, as you're watching this, something extraordinary is happening. Your consciousness isn't just observing these words, it's literally participating in their creation. The photons hitting your eyes, the neural signals in your brain, even the quantum fluctuations in the space around you are all being influenced by one thing: your attention. This isn't philosophy. This isn't metaphysics. This is physics, quantum physics, and it reveals the most revolutionary truth science has ever discovered. Consciousness doesn't just observe reality. Consciousness creates reality. Welcome back to another transmission. Today, we're diving into the observer effect, the scientifically proven phenomenon that shows your attention has the power to collapse quantum possibilities into actual experiences. What you're about to learn will fundamentally change how you see your role in existence. You're not a passive observer of life happening around you. You're an active participant in the quantum creation of reality itself. And once you understand how this works, you'll never see yourself the same way again. Let me take you back to 1909. British physicist Geoffrey Taylor conducted an experiment that shattered our understanding of reality forever. He fired single photons, individual particles of light, through a double-slit barrier onto a photographic plate. Here's what should have happened. Each photon should have gone through one slit or the other, creating two distinct lines on the plate. Here's what actually happened. Even when fired one at a time, the photons created an interference pattern, something that should only be possible if each individual photon somehow went through both slits simultaneously. But here's where it gets mind-bending. When Taylor set up detectors to observe which slit each photon went through, the interference pattern disappeared. The mere act of observation changed the behavior of the particles. The observer effect principles. Quantum superposition. Particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed. Wave function collapse. Observation forces quantum possibilities to become specific realities. Consciousness reality interface. The observer's consciousness plays an active role in determining outcomes. Non-local influence. Observation effects occur instantaneously across any distance. This led to what physicists call the measurement problem, the fact that consciousness seems to be fundamentally involved in the process of reality creation at the quantum level. Werner Heisenberg, one of the founders of quantum mechanics, put it perfectly: what we observe is not nature itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning. The implications of the observer effect go far beyond physics labs. Dr. Dean Radin at the Institute of Noetic Sciences has conducted thousands of experiments showing that human consciousness can influence physical systems at the quantum level. The double-slit consciousness experiments. Radin's team replicated the famous double-slit experiment with a twist. Instead of mechanical detectors, they used human consciousness as the observer. Test subjects were asked to simply focus their attention on the slits while photons were being fired. The results were statistically significant across thousands of trials. When people focused their attention on the experiment, the interference pattern shifted measurably. Human consciousness was directly influencing the behavior of photons. The random number generator studies. For over 30 years, Princeton's Pear Laboratory studied how human intention affects random quantum processes. They used quantum random number generators, devices that produce truly random sequences based on quantum uncertainty. The results across millions of trials showed that focused human intention could statistically bias these random systems. The effect size was small but consistent. Consciousness was influencing quantum randomness. The DNA phantom effect. Russian biophysicist Dr. Peter Garyaev made a shocking discovery. When DNA samples were placed in a vacuum chamber and then removed, the space continued to behave as if the DNA was still there, creating what he called DNA phantom effects. Even more remarkable, focused human attention could influence these phantom fields, suggesting that consciousness can interact with the quantum information patterns that organize biological systems. The quantum Zeno effect. This is perhaps the most profound discovery. Frequent observation can actually prevent quantum systems from evolving. It's as if consciousness can freeze quantum possibilities through sustained attention. Dr. Wayne Atano's experiments at the National Institute of Standards and Technology proved that observed quantum systems evolve more slowly than unobserved ones. Your attention doesn't just influence reality, it can actually control the rate of quantum change. Now, how do you harness the observer effect in your daily life? Here are 4 protocols that will turn your attention into a precision reality creation tool. Protocol 1. Quantum focusing. Most people scatter their attention across dozens of simultaneous inputs: phones, thoughts, conversations, worries. This creates what I call attention fragmentation, which weakens your quantum influence. Practice single-pointed attention. Choose one object, one breath, or one intention and focus on it completely for increasing periods. Start with 30 seconds, build to 10 minutes. When your attention becomes laser-focused, you're creating what physicists call quantum coherence, a state where your consciousness can exert maximum influence on quantum possibilities. Protocol 2. Conscious observation. Throughout your day, practice what I call intentional observation. Instead of passively looking at things, consciously engage the observer effect. When you look at a situation in your life, a relationship, a challenge, an opportunity, remember that your observation is literally influencing its quantum evolution. Ask yourself, how do I want this system to evolve? Then observe with that intention. Your attention isn't neutral. It's a creative force that collapses possibilities into experiences based on your conscious intention. Protocol 3. The quantum pause. Before making any significant decision or entering any important interaction, create what I call a quantum pause. Stop, breathe, and consciously engage your observer consciousness. In this pause, you're accessing what quantum physicists call the quantum field of potential, the space where possibilities exist before they collapse into specific outcomes. From this space, you can consciously choose which possibilities you want your attention to collapse into reality. Protocol 4. Field coherence activation. This is the advanced technique. Research shows that when your heart and brain achieve coherence, your attention becomes quantum coherent. This dramatically amplifies your observer effect capabilities. Practice heart-brain coherence while focusing on desired outcomes. In this state, you're not just observing reality, you're quantum programming it through coherent attention. The key is combining emotional coherence with focused intention. This creates what I call quantum amplified observation. Attention so coherent it can influence larger scale systems beyond individual particles. During my near-death experience, I discovered the observer effect operating at a scale I never imagined possible. When I was floating above my body, my consciousness wasn't just observing the scene below, it was actively influencing it. I could see the quantum field directly, like a shimmering web of possibilities surrounding every person and object in the room. But here's what was incredible: where I directed my attention, the field would respond, shifting and reorganizing itself. When I focused on the surgeon's hands, I could see quantum possibilities flowing through his movements, potential futures where his actions succeeded or failed. My attention wasn't neutral, it was actively influencing which possibilities became real. I experimented with this. I focused my attention on my body's healing potential, and I could literally see probability waves shifting toward regeneration and recovery. The quantum field was responding to my conscious observation. But the most profound moment came when I realized that this hadn't just started during my NDE, it had been happening my entire life. Every moment of attention, every focus of consciousness had been participating in the quantum creation of my reality. The difference was that now I could see it happening in real time. When I made the decision to return to my body, I brought back this awareness of attention as a creative force. I realized that every day, with every moment of focus, I was actively participating in the ongoing creation of my reality through the observer effect. This changed everything about how I approached life. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, I understood that I was a quantum participant. My consciousness was literally co-creating every experience through the power of focused attention. The healing that followed my NDE wasn't miraculous. It was the natural result of applying focused, coherent attention to quantum possibilities for regeneration and renewal. Here's where the observer effect gets truly revolutionary. If individual consciousness can influence quantum systems, what happens when multiple conscious observers align their attention? We get collective reality creation. The Global Consciousness Project at Princeton University has been monitoring this phenomenon since 1998. They operate a network of random number generators around the world, and they've discovered that during major global events, natural disasters, terrorist attacks, moments of collective celebration, these random systems become statistically non-random. Collective human consciousness is influencing quantum processes on a planetary scale. The meditation studies. Research shows that when groups practice coherent meditation, crime rates drop, conflict decreases, and even natural disasters can be influenced. This isn't correlation. Controlled studies demonstrate causation. The observer effect operates collectively. When enough conscious observers align their attention toward positive outcomes, they literally influence the probability of those outcomes manifesting in physical reality. The species evolution implications. We're discovering that human consciousness isn't separate from the physical universe. It's an integral part of how the universe creates itself. Through the observer effect, we're not just witnesses to evolution, we're active participants in it. As more humans learn to use their attention consciously, we're approaching what complexity scientists call a phase transition, a moment when collective human consciousness becomes coherent enough to influence global systems directly. We're not just individual observers anymore. We're becoming a collective conscious species capable of participating in planetary and cosmic evolution through the power of unified attention. Musica Scientifica Epica. Before you continue with your day, I want you to try something. Pick an object near you, anything. Now, instead of just looking at it, consciously observe it. Remember that your attention is not passive. It's actively influencing the quantum field around that object. Feel the connection between your consciousness and the matter you're observing. You're not separate from what you see, you're quantum entangled with it through the observer effect. This is your power. This is your responsibility. Every moment of attention is a moment of reality creation. In our next transmission, we're going to explore how this quantum creativity is encoded in your DNA itself, how your genetic potential is activated by consciousness, and how you can literally upgrade your biology through awareness. But first, practice the 4 attention mastery protocols. Focus your attention. Observe consciously. Create quantum pauses. Activate field coherence. Remember, you're not just watching reality unfold. Through the observer effect, you're participating in its creation with every moment of conscious attention. The universe isn't happening to you, it's happening through you, one quantum observation at a time. Until next time, remember, your attention is your quantum superpower. Use it wisely.